everybody, and welcome back to another online video. Today we are doing a winter craft and we are going to be making coffee filter snowflakes. So the reason I chose this activity is because it's the perfect craft for winter time, and also it uses things that you probably already have in your house. So all you're going to need for this craft today is what you see in front of you. You're going to need a watercolor palette. You can also use markers instead, but I do suggest using the watercolor palette. You're going to need some paintbrushes, a small glass of water, some coffee filters, and scissors for later on. So go ahead and gather those supplies and we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first step of this craft is I want you to grab one of your coffee filters. We're going to flip it over and we're kind of going to squish it down and make it flat. Just like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our paintbrushes and we are just going to paint this coffee filter with the colors that we want. So I'm just going to take pink here and I'm just going to start painting my coffee filter. Now, I mentioned earlier that you could do this using crayons, using markers, but this to me is just a little bit more straightforward. Essentially what you would do with the markers is you would draw your pattern that you want on your coffee filter, and then you would add water on top of it, and it would kind of make this watercolor effect. But I am just doing it this way because I think it's a little bit easier and a little bit more straightforward. So I'm just gonna add some different colors. I kind of want to go with like a pinky theme for this one. So literally you're just gonna do this. You're going to paint your coffee filters with your watercolor, and then we're on to the next step of this craft already. So go ahead, continue painting your coffee filters with your watercolor paint, and I will be back to show you the next step. Okay, so here is my first coffee filter. So as you can see, this is very basic. I just kind of did watercolor paint all over. You can do a bunch of different colors if you'd like. You can do any kind of color schemes that you want. So what we're gonna do is we're literally going to repeat this process with all of our coffee filters. I'm gonna do 3 today, and you can do as many as you'd like. So let's continue. Let's do the same thing. I'm going to take this one here in front of me and I'm going to place it on a separate tray, like a cookie sheet, and I'm going to let it dry and lay it flat. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and then we're going to continue painting our coffee filters. I have just finished my last coffee filter, and now what we're gonna do is we are gonna let these all lay flat to dry. So when they are completely dry, come back, and then we are going to finish our coffee filter snowflakes. Okay, by this point our coffee filters are completely dry, and now we are going to turn them into snowflakes. So I'm gonna go over 3 very basic, very simple designs with you on how to make these into beautiful snowflakes. Like I said, they're very simple, and there are more complex ones that you can do online. There are plenty of templates that you can use to do this, but I'm just going to show you 3 very basic ways to make these into snowflakes. So all you're going to need now for the next part of this video is a pair of scissors and a pen. So go ahead and grab those as well as your coffee filters, and let's go ahead and get started. So something that I'm going to note right away is the more times you fold your coffee filter, the more intricate your snowflake design will be. So we're only going to be folding this 3 times today, but the more you fold it, the more intricate your design. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold my coffee filter in half. And you want them to be lined up as best as you can. Now we're going to fold it in half again, going this way. I'm actually just going to turn it like this, like a half moon, and I'm going to fold it up like that. So now we have folded it twice and we have this shape here. We are going to fold it one more time, so grab one of your sides and just fold it again. Just like that. Make sure your folds are nice and clean. Okay, so now we have kind of like this triangle shape here. Now the first design I'm going to show you is quite simple to draw. We're just going to be using our pen to kind of outline what we're going to be cutting out instead of just kind of freehand cutting out. So again, this doesn't need to be perfect. Just kind of try and follow along to the best of your abilities. If you need to pause the video and go back, that's perfectly fine. So I'm just going to start at the top left-hand corner here, and I'm going to draw a line going on a slant till about the middle, like that, little bit more. Now I'm going to draw a line kind of going down a little bit, like that. I'm going to draw another line going up, a shorter line that doesn't quite go as high as this one here. We're going to draw another little line going to the left, like that. And then our last line we are going to draw from here all the way to the edge, not quite at the top. So I'm going to show you this close up here. That's all we did. If you want to pause the video right here, go ahead and do that so that you can draw something that looks like this. You can take a photo of it, anything that you need in order to draw a similar design. Okay, now we're going to cut out on that line. So we're literally just going to cut out on the line that we have just drawn. These are very simple designs, but I think they're going to turn out very beautiful. Okay, so I'm just going to put this aside. Now, gently, we are going to open up our snowflake and let's see what we have. And there we have it. A very simple, yet very cool design. I'm just gonna flip this over so you can see it better. Just like that. Very pretty, very simple to do. It didn't require a lot of lines to be drawn, but it looks very beautiful as well. If you love this design, you can go back and do another fold on your snowflake to make it even more intricate. But I think this is very beautiful. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our next design. So I'm going to grab another coffee filter here, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're going to fold our coffee filters in half. And we're gonna fold it again. And one last time. Okay, so this is the same amount of folds that we did with our last snowflake. Let's get adventurous and do one more fold. So I'm just gonna take one side and fold it over again. And make sure your sides are lined up perfectly, or as best as you can get them. Okay. So now we have the same shape, a triangle, but it's a little bit more skinny. So now let's go ahead and draw our next design. So again, starting from the top left corner, I'm going to draw a line kind of extending to the middle, just like that. Now I'm going to draw a line going the other direction down, like that. I'm gonna do the same thing going to the right. So we're kind of making what looks like a triangle here. Now we're going to draw a line from this point that we just drew, and we're gonna go all the way down, and we're actually going to go to the very edge of our coffee filter. Now, the one last thing we need to do is we're gonna take a line here, starting kind of a quarter way up from your coffee filter, and just draw a line across like that. So I'm gonna show you close up again. So this would be a good time if you want to pause the video and copy this design on your coffee filter, or take a picture of it, whatever you need to do. Go ahead and do it now. And once you have that design drawn, we are going to cut it out. The same thing as before. It's going to be a little bit more tricky to cut out because we have more layers this time. But just try your best. Go nice and slow. I'm going to put this aside. Now I'm just going to cut on this line here that we drew, the last line that we drew. Okay, so this is what we're left with. We're going to go ahead and open it up and see what it made. Wow, very beautiful. We have officially gotten a big star in the middle of our snowflake. Very unique. Again, this time we folded it an extra time, so it's a little bit more intricate than our last one. I'm going to show you for comparison. So as you can see, the one on the left here is much more intricate than the first one that we did, and that is simply by adding one extra fold into your coffee filter snowflakes. So that's a very good comparison for you. So now we're gonna go ahead and do our last coffee filter snowflake. Now that you've seen two different ways to fold your coffee filter snowflakes, it's up to you whether you want to fold it 3 times or 4 times. I'm gonna try folding it 4 times again, like we did with the second one, to get a more intricate design. So I'm just gonna fold it in half again. Make sure your edges are clean. And we're gonna fold it again. And again, so this is our third time. And I'm gonna go ahead and fold it one more time. So 4 times total. Again, I am left with a very kind of skinny triangle shape, just like that. So another very simple design to copy. You are just going to flip your coffee filter to the side and we're going to draw our pattern this way. I think it's just going to be a tiny bit easier. We are going to draw a line going straight down, just part way. And then we're going to draw a line going down a bit more. Now from this point here, we're going to draw a line diagonally going up and another small diagonal line going down. We're going to draw another line kind of connecting what looks like here, like an invisible line here we're going to kind of connect to. Same thing, we're going to draw a line going down a little bit there. I'm going to extend it a little bit further. And now we're going to draw a line going straight off of the coffee filter. Now, this is the design I have here. If you would like to pause the video, take a photo of it, go ahead and do that now. And once you have that ready to go, we are going to go ahead and cut out the lines. Remember, I folded mine 4 times instead of 3. It's going to be a little bit more tricky to cut out just because there's an extra layer of coffee filter. But just take your time. We're almost done here. Perfect. I'm going to put this aside here. And now we're going to open up our snowflake and see what we have. I'm going to flip it over so you can see it better. And there we are. We have gotten a snowflake with 3 points on each end, as well as little triangles in the middle here between each point. Very unique, very different. I think this looks really good being folded a 4th time, but if you even did it 3 times, I'm sure it looks just as beautiful. So now let's take a look at all 3 of our snowflakes here. So this was our first one on the right. The one in the middle was our second, and the one to the left is our third. So there we are. We have 3 very beautiful coffee filter snowflakes with a watercolor pattern for paint that we did earlier. They look very beautiful. These are going to be really nice hung up in a windowsill so that some sunlight can come through them, or you can just hang them in your room for the winter time. It is totally up to you. They are great for many different things. So this was just 3 very simple ways to cut out coffee filter snowflakes, very easy designs to follow along with, and yeah, very beautiful. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that it was helpful in terms of cutting out different coffee filter snowflake designs. And as always, if you can send me photos of your coffee filter snowflakes, I would absolutely love to see them. And don't be afraid to kind of do your own patterns. Make your own coffee filter snowflake patterns and send me those as well. These are just 3 very basic designs that I wanted to show you in case you didn't have any ideas of your own. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.